Completely Pro has been approved for pro wrestling fans by the creators of the Angle Podcast.
In the words of the great band Stained, it's been a while. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the brand new and improved Angle Podcast Premium Preview Show, where we'll be discussing all things WWE and WWE WrestleMania Backlash 2022. As always, I am your host, Joey Karni, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below to stay up to date with all the Angles activity right here on YouTube. Now you can follow along all social platforms at The Angle Radio, and now on TikTok at The Angle Podcast. We are above 15,000 followers there, so if you can help us keep growing there, please give a follow. The handle is at The Angle Podcast. I personally have never been a fan of the term WrestleMania Backlash, but this year in particular, we can say that, well, the moniker is very true to its meaning because all these matches, at least majority of the matches that will be happening at WrestleMania Backlash, are all rematches from WrestleMania 38 just a few weeks ago. And one in particular that I want to start talking about right now is Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley, versus the Colossus, Omos. Now this match kind of came out of left field leading into WrestleMania about a week or so before the event. But now that there's some meat on this bone, meat into this storyline, MVP is the biggest piece here, connecting these two together. MVP turning on Bobby Lashley, now being aligned with Omos, making Omos a big star on Monday Night Raw. Now, Bobby Lashley obviously does not like the fact that someone is trying to take his place. He is the almighty. He is the, well, uncrowned WWE champion because he never lost that WWE championship back at Elimination Chamber earlier this year. So Bobby Lashley is on the road back to the top, but Omos, well, is doing his best to, I guess you could say, climb over everyone to his way to the top. Not that he has to climb at all because he is the tallest guy on the roster, so he can just step over whoever he wants. But Bobby Lashley being his first target in this mission to the top of WWE is going to be a big one because at WrestleMania, Omos took the loss to Bobby Lashley. So this time around, MVP being in the corner of Omos, I have to predict that because Omos has MVP in his corner, I'm going to have to give this win to Omos. He already knows what it's like to be in the ring with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley already knowing what it's like to be in the ring with Omos as well. Bobby Lashley also knowing what it's like to have MVP in his corner. So Bobby Lashley is looking very, very good going into this match. But because Omos has the size and frankly has the power over Bobby Lashley, now having the missing piece, which is MVP, I don't think that there's a piece that can go missing in the place of Omos. So I have to give this win to Omos. Omos going over Bobby Lashley. First match we're discussing, WrestleMania Backlash. Next up, we have Madcap Moss taking on Happy Corbin. And Happy Corbin right now being someone that's not necessarily happy because this feud has been brewing for God knows how long now. Finally having that chance for Madcap Moss to shine. Happy Corbin being that perfect component really for Madcap Moss to go to the next level. Madcap Moss also, or formerly known as Riddick Moss, has been in WWE for a very, very long time. Clanging and banging in the PC and NXT for a long time, not really getting that opportunity, finally being brought up with Happy Corbin. And winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year, earlier before WrestleMania. But now really being positioned in a way that he can do great things. I could definitely see Madcap Moss taking it a step further going into the mid-card scene. We already saw him defeat Finn Balor to win that Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and he looked like he fit in very, very well in that position on SmackDown. So I think that Madcap Moss will be getting a win over Happy Corbin, elevating him to the next level. Hopefully Happy Corbin can do something more entertaining besides just being happy. Hopefully going into a title opportunity, maybe going against Ricochet. It's been a very, very long time since we saw Happy Corbin associated with anything labeled a title. I believe that he is still owed an Intercontinental Championship match that he never had. And another component too we have to think about is Happy Corbin's never been a champion in WWE. So yes, you're probably wondering, why am I predicting Madcap Moss to win, but Happy Corbin go into a different direction, specifically a title? Well, because Happy Corbin is a veteran at this point, and he's never held a title in WWE. Or he has. He's been the United States champion, but that was besides the point because it didn't really do anything. Happy Corbin deserves an opportunity for a title, specifically, I think, the Intercontinental Championship. Let him have a shot at Ricochet, see what they can do. But Madcap Moss, I think this is the best way to build him. Let's keep stacking those stones and ultimately build a career or build a star out of Madcap Moss. Now, one of the matches that I've been looking forward to most at WrestleMania Backlash is Edge versus AJ Styles 2. This match is probably going to be one of the best matches on the entire pay-per-view or premium live event, WWE WrestleMania Backlash. And the big key factor here is that Damian Priest is banned from ringside, which leads to the assumption that somebody else will be joining Judgment Day at WrestleMania Backlash, probably trying to help Edge get a win. But I kind of think, in a sense, that maybe AJ Styles, because he's been put down so many times by Edge and Damian Priest, he's coming up with a plan. And now we saw Monday Night Raw, Finn Balor getting involved. Maybe we see a switch or some sort of turn here where Finn Balor is the one to turn on AJ to join Judgment Day, where we see Edge leading Judgment Day, one side Damian Priest, one side Finn Balor. A lot of people are speculating that it will be Tommaso Ciampa, but we've been seeing Ciampa do some things with Mustafa Ali on Raw, so I'm not really sure if it'll be him. A lot of people also hinting at it being Rhea Ripley, but I don't see Rhea Ripley getting involved in this storyline to, I guess, cost AJ Styles the match. Which kind of leads to the assumption, like I said, that it can be Finn Balor. Finn Balor playing a part where he's coming to the aid of AJ Styles, really to get into the head of AJ Styles, ultimately just to turn and align with Edge and Damian Priest in Judgment Day. This match, I think, like I said, is going to be one of the best matches on the card. I'm predicting another win for Edge. I can't see it playing out any other way. Edge is the master manipulator. He is the ultimate opportunist in WWE. So I think, or I know, he will find another way to get the job done, and that is bringing someone else. Since Damian Priest is banned, let's bring someone else in to help him get a victory, which, like I said, Finn Balor is the guy that's open right now. So I'm going with Finn Balor costing AJ Styles a win, leading to Edge getting a win over AJ Styles. The SmackDown Women's Championship is on the line at WrestleMania Backlash, being, at least for right now, the only women's match featured at the premium live event. And that is the I Quit match between the current SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, going one-on-one with Ronda Rousey. Now, this match, honestly, I haven't really been invested in. Ronda's promos have been very, very dull. We haven't seen any fire from her since she's returned to WWE. Charlotte Flair even going on record saying that this is not one of her favorite title runs that she's had. And I can attest to that because it's just not been anything memorable. She's defended it a handful of times since she's held that title. And these two, although can be a WrestleMania main event, it's just not doing it for me, and I know it's not doing it for a lot of fans right now. WrestleMania, we saw Charlotte Flair get a win over Ronda Rousey in very Flair-like way, a dirty way. And I would say that now that Ronda Rousey is expecting Charlotte Flair to play as the dirtiest woman in the game, I think she's ready. I think she's ready to make Charlotte Flair tap out. And I think she's going to make Charlotte Flair say, I quit, and become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. If Charlotte Flair wins at this point, this whole storyline is just meaningless because how many times can Ronda Rousey lose? If we're going to put some authenticity into this, Ronda has to kick some ass and, well, become champion. Now, another WrestleMania rematch that will be taking place at WrestleMania Backlash is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes taking on Seth freaking Rollins. This feud has been really just getting more and more personal as the weeks go by. Before, Cody Rhodes was the unnamed opponent for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins went into WrestleMania not knowing who he would be facing. Vince McMahon himself picking Cody Rhodes. Over the last few weeks, we see Seth freaking Rollins getting more personal, making this about Dusty Rhodes, making this about Cody's insecurities, making it more ego-driven, kind of showing some of his own insecurities, leading to some sort of personal vendetta against Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes kind of saying it's a cheap shot to go after his father, Dusty Rhodes, which I kind of can agree with. A lot of guys who've been in the ring with Cody tend to just go after the Rhodes name, go after Dusty Rhodes. This one in particular, Seth freaking Rollins has the momentum and he has the, I guess you can say, history to back it up. This one really is Dusty's kid versus Dusty's kid. Seth Rollins being handed the NXT championship from Dusty Rhodes back in the day in NXT when he first won that. Cody Rhodes really having a chip on his shoulder, specifically against Seth freaking Rollins. So this one is very personal. WrestleMania, we saw Cody Rhodes get the win over Seth Rollins, but now at WrestleMania Backlash, I think we're going to see Seth freaking Rollins get the win over Cody Rhodes. I know a lot of people are going to yell and scream and complain about me saying that because, well, how can you have Cody lose such a short time into his WWE return? We have to make this authentic. We have to make this somewhat real. Cody Rhodes is not going to win every match. Seth Rollins is due for a win. He's been losing as of late. I think this is a great opportunity to further this storyline, have it go 1v1, one for Cody Rhodes, one for Seth Rollins, and ultimately lead to the next pay-per-view where we do some big match where the winner maybe gets a title opportunity or gets added to Money in the Bank or something worth fighting for, something worth winning for, other than just a win. So I think Seth freaking Rollins is going to get the win over Cody Rhodes in this one, round 2 at WrestleMania Backlash. Now to the match that has all of the buzz, good and bad, and I believe will be the main event of WrestleMania Backlash, is a 6-man tag team match, originally scheduled to be a tag team title unification match between RK Bro and the Usos, has now turned into, like I said, a 6-man tag. The Usos and Roman Reigns, better known as the Bloodline, taking on RK Bro and the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. This match is ultimately going to blow the roof off the joint. I think, like I said, it will be the main event of the show. The Usos and RK Bro have been going back and forth for quite some time now. A lot of people disappointed that they dropped the stipulation of a title unification. I, being one of those people, I was not a fan of unifying the titles at first, but then after having it pushed so many weeks at this point, I was just ready for it to happen. And, well, they took that away. A lot of people were speculating that Roman Reigns was injured, but now he'll be in the match. And I'm not sure if this is true or not, so someone can correct me. But I think this is the first time that the Bloodline, all 3 members, Jimmy, Jay, Uso, and Roman Reigns, tagging together in a 6-man tag on a pay-per-view or premium live event. So correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. So this is going to be a big fight, a big match. I think, honestly, we're going to see the Usos and Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, get a win. I think that if Drew McIntyre is going to be the next opponent for Roman Reigns, I think it's a great way to have the Usos get a win over RK Bro. Let one of the Usos or even Roman either pin or tap out Riddle. I think that would be a great way to kind of segment into maybe the unraveling of RK Bro. Randy start to see Riddle lose a little bit, lose some of that momentum. If they are going to unify the titles, there are a lot of teams that are available to be contenders. So I think RK Bro, ultimately the goal here is to have a feud between the two to build Riddle up, have Randy Orton build Riddle up. So if that's not the case, then you can just scrap everything I just said. But ultimately, I think that the Bloodline is going to get a win over RK Bro and Drew McIntyre. Now, majority of the WWE Universe have been alluding to the idea that every match on WrestleMania Backlash is a rematch from WrestleMania 38. And although that is true to an extent, we can't ignore the fact that all of these storylines have been built out, have been developed over the last few weeks, making them deeper, making them more detailed, and making them, well, more entertaining. So I, for one, am very excited to see all these storylines come to a head at WrestleMania Backlash. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, and commenting, just enjoying the ride here while I discussed everything that is WWE WrestleMania Backlash. If you haven't already, like I said before, please like and subscribe down below to stay up to date with all activity from the Angle Podcast right here on YouTube. You can follow on all social media platforms at The Angle Radio and on TikTok now at The Angle Podcast. Almost or past 15,000 followers there. So if you can help me get to that 20K number, it'd be highly appreciated. Again, thank you for all tuning in. And comment down below if you enjoyed this new style of the preview show. Comment down below your predictions for the show. I would love to hear what you think is going to happen at WrestleMania Backlash. And I'll, again, be live tweeting throughout the entire show on Sunday to give you all updates, results, rumors, everything going into the event. I always live tweet throughout the show. So like I said, on Twitter, at The Angle Radio. Let me know what you're thinking. And again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. But for now, go enjoy WrestleMania Backlash. And before you go, please like, subscribe, and check out more wrestling content right here on The Angle Podcast.